Come see us in Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Buffalo, New York, Toledo, Ohio, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Belfast, London, and a lot more. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for the cheapest tickets.
Here's the headline. Trump announces pause in reciprocal tariffs for all countries but China. And as he did that, the NASDAQ soared. Its best day since 2001 after Trump pauses some tariffs. And what he basically announced is that while he's increasing tariffs on China, he's going to impose a 90-day pause on the tariffs for the rest of the world. And at the White House, this is how Trump explained his move.
Saying be cool. And just a few hours later, there was a pause put in on the tariffs. Can you walk us through your thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions. Because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the presidents. They wouldn't have done it.
It's just fun. He can't help but be comical. He's just a comical figure. Everything he says is like a guy doing an impression of him, but it's actually him. That's funny. I know the presidents. I know all of them. And
hey,
but
yippee.
People are getting yippy. So why do you think he did? Why do you think he did that? Is it because he was afraid that the stock market was going to crash and he didn't want that to happen under his watch?
That's what he basically said. Let's go to this clip.
Markets that persuaded you to reverse course?
I was watching the bond market. The bond market is very tricky. I was watching it, but if you look at it now, it's beautiful. The bond market right now is beautiful. But yeah, I saw last night where people were getting a little queasy. I think everything had, well, the big move wasn't what I did today. The big move was what I did on Liberation Day. We had Liberation Day in America. We're liberated from all of the horrible deals that were made.
So he talks about people getting queasy in the bond market. Who's he? He's talking about people like Bill Ackman, the billionaire Trump supporter who was very against the tariffs. Elon Musk was also against these tariffs. And yeah, that's what I think it was. You know, he saw that some of his biggest supporters and wealthiest supporters were getting queasy, and he backed down.
So I find a couple of things interesting about this whole tariff conversation is that for my whole life, the left has said Wall Street is not the real economy. And we're sick and tired of policies that just pump up the Wall Street, but leave Main Street behind. And so the whole point of these tariffs was to help Main Street at the detriment to Wall Street. And in fact, I had some economists DM me saying that when the stock market crashes, that's a transfer of wealth from the rich to the poor. And I haven't heard anybody else put it that way. And now I'm not an economist, right? So I don't know if that's true or whatever, but I do know that the left has completely flipped on what they, just like everything, that if Trump's for it, they're against it, right? And so they were against open borders until Trump was against them, and then they were for them. Now they were against free trade agreements. They were against NAFTA. They were against the Obama when he had the TTP. They were against all that stuff. And then Trump comes in and he actually does something. And then they all flip. They all freaking out about the Wall Street. They're freaking out about about other governments' economy. Who cares? So, and here's the thing that I think, I haven't heard anybody else make this point, is that it's not like there's another competing idea to help rebuild the manufacturing base in the United States. There's not another competing idea. If there was another idea out there that someone could put forth that was better than Trump's idea on tariffs, I would say, well, let's have it out. Let's have this discussion. And then I've seen other people who, like Jeffrey Sachs, who I'm a huge fan of, huge respect for him. But I saw him on with Judge Napolitano, and he talked about what happened to the manufacturing base in the United States was that it was automation. Well, that's certainly a part of it, but he's overlooking NAFTA. He overlooked that. He's overlooking all the free trade agreements. He's overlooking what happened in Seattle in 1999. He's overlooking the tax breaks that corporations get for offshoring jobs. We've offshored all our job. That's the problem. And he didn't. So I was kind of very disappointed that he didn't mention that. And people just seem to almost be rewriting history about how we got to this point economically with the hollowed out middle class and the manufacturing base of the United States. So have you heard anybody else having a competing plan to what Trump was offering?
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, I'd agree with most of what you said, and especially your point that Democrats don't have a competing idea. I think that's true because they, like you said, they've railed against in recent years the hollowing out of the middle class, even though they presided over these policies. It was Bill Clinton that pushed through NAFTA. Barack Obama, after the financial crisis, what did he do? He bailed out the banks. He let people lose their homes. So what ideas have they brought to the table? Pretty much nothing. But I guess in terms of, actual progressives, if we had them, they've had ideas like, let's invest in a public sector. Let's actually spend government resources on building up infrastructure. Like Bernie Sanders has talked about that, but he's found no takers among Democrats because they also serve Wall Street as well. So I think if Trump listened to like the actual left rather than Democrats, I think there could be some real ideas to bring back manufacturing without, the crisis that has just ensued. And with Wall Street, it's true that the ultra elite control and own most of Wall Street, but there are pensions tied up in the stock market as well. So there are some, I think, everyday people that have been impacted by these swings in the market. But listen, what you're saying about Wall Street being favored and Main Street being sidelined, this is the rhetoric coming from the Trump administration. Listen to what Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, said just hours before Trump reversed himself on the tariffs.
4 decades, basically since I began my career in Wall Street has grown wealthier than ever before, and it can continue to grow and do well. But for the next 4 years, the Trump agenda is focused on Main Street. It's Main Street's turn. It's Main Street's turn to hire workers. It's Main Street's turn to drive investment. And it's Main Street's turn to restore the American dream.
I mean, it sounds good, right? But the question is, do their policies advance that goal? Now, Richard Wolff, who you've had on the show a lot, what he argues is this. He says the tariffs were basically, in theory, it's a good idea to have some tariffs, but the way Trump did it was just without much logic. And what he thinks Trump is up to is basically the Trump, through the tariffs, is trying to raise enough revenue that could justify him continuing to cut taxes for the ultra wealthy. So contrary to what Scott Bessent says about helping Main Street, he says Trump wants to basically help the ultra wealthy by continuing to cut their taxes and justify that by saying that he got some money through imposing these tariffs. That's Richard Wolff's analysis.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I would like to hear Richard Wolff give an alternative and a plan. And I'm thirsty to hear his plan. No one has another plan. And so I'd like to, and so I'm actually a little bummed that Trump is turned his heel like this and decided to boost Wall Street and NASDAQ again and kind of go back on what Scott Bessent just said. I heard Scott Bessent did an hour interview with Tucker Carlson, and it was really intriguing to me. It's like I can hear, like I believed him. Like when I hear him say that, I believe him. And it's like I've never heard a politician in my life say, "Hey, yeah, we're going to Wall Street's going to have to take some pain so we can give some attention to the working class." No one's ever said that in my lifetime. It's been the exact opposite, and they've all.
Well, Bernie Sanders has said it, and he was. I agree with you. He was sounding a lot like Bernie. He said also, we have a lot of people taking luxury vacations while many Americans can't afford food, and that's why they're going to food banks. We have to take care of them. But again, what policy-wise is Scott Bessent and Trump proposing to take care of people who rely on food subsidies? If anything, what I'm hearing from the Trump camp, maybe this isn't Scott Bessent, but certainly Elon Musk, is we have to cut these benefits. So like, I agree, he's saying the right things, but policy-wise, what are they doing for struggling people?
So, well, their response, I'm sure, would be, well, these tariffs are what we're doing, and this is going to, It's going to be a short-term pain, long-term gain, and so that's what they would say, and that's gonna, hey, if you don't want to be tariffed, you don't want to have tariffs imposed on you, start your manufacturing in the United States. That's what their line is. Well, we'll see what happens, but he's keeping it on China. What any idea? I mean, I know neither of us are economists, or why he would choose to just leave it on China.
Well, the U.S. is so reliant on China that I guess he feels he has to do something about it. That so many products now rely on the Chinese market, Chinese workers. That he feels as if that one, to save face, he has to keep that one on. And China's retaliated, and I don't have the economic expertise to say where that one's going and why. But look, just on the issue of why Trump reversed himself initially, here is Charlie Gasparino of Fox News, who's a Trump supporter. He also says that it's essentially because of Wall Street.
Oh, I mean, because of the mixed messaging, how can you doubt them? I mean, let's be clear what happened. Who capitulated here and why? And I don't want to say this because I'm a patriot. I'm an American. But it is the White House who capitulated based on everything I hear and all my sources. And the reason why is because of the bond market and what happened last night. Bessent knows this better than anybody. When you have yields on the 10-year rising to 5%, stuff starts shutting down. When you have the lending markets screwed up. By the way, who was dumping the bonds? Somebody asked them if it was China, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't. It was Japan. While he was negotiating with Japan, according to my sources, who are running major money management firms that are involved in the bond market, without giving up names, Japan was dumping bonds because they believed this was not a great place to do business. That forced their hands. Now, what you can say, I think, legitimately here, is Trump decided to take the win. And here's why. There was overwhelmingly, deal potential here among the entire world, except for maybe China, right? Everybody really wanted something. So he did take the win, but make no mistake about it. Peter Navarro was talking as of yesterday about not taking the win, and now they did. And it's all because of the bond market. I want to point out.
So he says it's all because of the bond market that Trump backed down, but he's also saying that Trump sees a win here because now, I mean, aside from China, countries around the world are trying to negotiate new tariff deals that Trump hopes will be favorable to the U.S. And that's why Trump is going to try to paint this as a win.
Well, I saw Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, who we all know, and he said that Trump should have put a 400% tariff on China, and that it's about time, and that we've had this unfair trade agreement. I mean, we all know that corporations get tax breaks for offshoring jobs, and that's how much they perverted the legislation and the economy. And that if he was said, well, what would happen if you put a 400% tariff on China? And he said they would immediately come to the negotiation table, and we'd have a negotiation. And so, in the absence of any other plan, I'm reluctantly for these tariffs. No one else has had a plan in my entire goddamn lifetime, and nothing except more of the same and more. I mean, how long can we keep saying half the country can't afford a $500 emergency? How long can we say that 80% of workers live paycheck to paycheck? 50% of wage earners earn less than $30,000 a year. I mean, no one has a goddamn plan, right? And so I was cautiously optimistic about that someone is going to try something, and I saw the auto workers, which you covered, were behind this idea. So, or at least a big swath of them were anyway. It's well, we'll see what happens. I guess. I do feel that, boy, because Trump's not running again. That's what he seemed to me like he's having a second term the way we hoped Barack Obama would have a second term. that he would actually get to do the things he wanted in his second term because he couldn't in his first term because he wanted to get reelected. And then he didn't. He was just even more horrible in his second term, Barack Obama. And so, but it looked like Trump was like, hey, screw it. I'm doing exactly what I want. I'm empowered. I've got a mandate, and I'm not running again. And now it seems like he's going to knuckle under to, to the Wall Street class. We'll see. I hope not. I hope they come up with a plan to help, reinvigorate manufacturing in the United States, bring real jobs back. It's good that, his border policy, you have to have a rational immigration policy. Open borders are there to suppress wages. And the mistake people make is they get angry at the immigrants when they're doing exactly what anybody would do in their situation. If you find yourself angry at someone lower on the economic ladder than you, you're being manipulated by someone higher on the economic ladder than you. Keep that in mind. And your job didn't get taken by an immigrant. Your job was given to an immigrant by a corporatist who found somebody he could exploit more than you. Hey, we've all been told that aging's just a natural process, aches and pains, thinning hair, wrinkled skin, brittle nails. But what if I told you that the rate at which we age isn't just about time, it's also about what we're consuming? For decades, the FDA has allowed toxic chemicals, preservatives, and artificial ingredients into our food supply, things that are banned in other countries. These toxins disrupt our hormones, weaken our bones, accelerate aging, and wreak havoc on our skin and hair. But there's something you can do about it. One of the best ways to fight back against this damage is by giving your body the nutrients it truly needs, nutrients that the modern diet is sorely lacking. That's why I want to tell you about Revive from Brightcore Nutrition. Revive is designed to rebuild and restore your body from the inside out. It contains 5 types of collagen, hyaluronic acid, biotin, and vitamin C working together to strengthen bones and joints, rejuvenate your skin, and help grow back thicker, healthier hair. I could use that. All the things that processed food and environmental toxins have been stripping away from us. It's all natural, non-GMO, and made 100% in the United States. No hidden toxins, no fillers, just pure, high-quality ingredients that actually work. Today, you can get an exclusive offer by clicking the link below. Just use the code DOOR for 25% off your entire order. Or for an even better deal, call my friends at Brightcore for up to a 50% off your order and free shipping. Give them a call now at 888-253-0418. Come see us in Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Buffalo, New York, Toledo, Ohio, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Belfast, London, and a lot more. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for the cheapest tickets.